Do you know how to find your ideal client, or who your ideal client even is? Do you need an ideal client when you are in the sales industry? Well, in this video, we're going to explore why you need an ideal client and how you develop your ideal client avatar. You know, the little fictional character that you picture. You know, think Mickey Mouse, he's kind of like a little avatar. Then we're going to also walk through the different stages of a buyer's journey. We're going to explore what each stage of the buyer's journey is and allow you to understand what you need the marketing and messaging for in each part of those stages so that you can also attract your ideal client. But first, I'm going to tell you a little story. This is about a realtor, and let's call her Lisa for the sake of this video. And Lisa, who she loved working with, was seniors. She really liked to help seniors, whether they were downsizing or they were selling because they were going into some kind of care facility. This was the area she really loved to work in. However, her social media said otherwise. She kept posting things about first-time home buyers. She kept posting things about luxury real estate. She kept posting things about anything else other than trying to target her ideal customer, who she loved to work with. And even though her ideal client may not have been on that particular social media, but her ideal client's children were. And without them knowing who she served, the area she took care of, and particularly who she loved to work with, her ideal client's children had no clue that she could actually help their father in downsizing after the loss of their mom, Mary. So yes, this is Joseph, and Joseph is Lisa's ideal client. And unfortunately, Joseph lost his beloved wife, Mary, after 50 years of marriage. He really wanted to just downsize and get rid of the family memories associated to the house that they had raised their family in. So he leaned into his son, and in particular, actually, his daughter-in-law, to help him through the process. And she was the one who found the realtor who ended up selling their house. And she found it through Instagram because this realtor had been posting that they take care of seniors, that this was their niche, their specific. They also work with a company that helped them pack and downsize and pack up everything. But see, that realtor had their target market in mind with all of their messaging, all of their postings. And yes, they did include other parts of real estate into their social media strategy, but they always kept their ideal client at first and foremost, front and center. So if you want to know how to find your ideal client, we're going to jump into the video now to talk about that. Hey, my name is Helena, and after 30 years in a career in finance, marketing, and business management, I now help other commission-based business owners like realtors, mortgage brokers, and other financial advisors to build a business online, to be able to be seen, to put leads on autopilot, and to grow and sell more. So obviously, having an ideal client in mind when you are doing your marketing strategy will help you reach the person you ideally want to work with. If you want to work in the luxury market, but you are posting to first-time home buyers, well, that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And if you want to sell to repeat buyers or rental property owners, well, again, if you're posting about retirees, that might not be the strategy you're looking for. So it is very important to find the ideal client that you want to work with so that it makes your messaging and your marketing just kind of easier as well. And for instance, I really focus on women in the sales industry because that is exactly who I am. I was a commission-based business owner for years, and this is the space I know really well. So now I take my 30 years of experience and bring it out there, but I really want to focus on my messaging to my ideal client. And yes, my videos do help everyone. I understand that. But ideally, I'm trying to market specifically to that person who I want to work with. An ideal client avatar. This is where you build out a person or a persona of the person that you really want to work with. And in my head, mine actually looks like a little cartoon character. I see exactly who I want to speak to at all times in my head. However, this goes definitely in my business planning, and I do have playlists down below on my business planning process, whether that's annual, every 12 weeks, or daily, if you were curious. But my ideal client avatar is built into my entire marketing and sales strategy. And this is how I personally have found mine. The ideal client avatar can really be broken into two things: kind of demographics, or kind of the who, what, and where of the person that you want to work with, and psychographics. So psychographics are the warm and fuzzies. Feel that they are part of your tribe. This is the messaging and the language and the tone that that person would work with. And combining the two is ideally how you find it. But let's jump into both parts of it and look at it just in a little bit more detail. And don't worry, before you think that this is going to be a lot, below I do have a link. I have an ideal client avatar workbook for you. So watch this video through, you'll know what you are looking to do, and then jump into the link below to grab that freebie for yourself. So you can also use it to build out your ideal client avatar. So when we look at demographics, we look at things like age range. Are they 35 to 55? Are they 25 to 45? That is age range. Then you look at gender and income ranges. So do they earn anywhere from 25 to 55,000? Are they earning from 55 to 155,000? You know, you really want to ideally put them in a category of where they are so that you can understand the next part of it. And the next part is the psychographics. This is the how they look, they feel, they act, they do. This is all of the things that allows you and helps you to build out your marketing message along the way. So these are things like, where do they live and why do they choose to live there? This is who do they hang out with and what do they do on the weekends? Do they have a family? Are they singles? Are they pet parents? Where do they shop? Who do they go and visit? What do they buy from? What brands do they associate with? And who do they not associate with? Do they have a certain vibe? Or is there a certain kind of tone and language that they easily get along with? Do they stand for something? What kind of social media do they use? Where are they found? And then together, what I do is I describe that person in whole. I create a name. I've actually even gone back in time and said, okay, the ideal age range that I want to work with is this. What were popular baby names in 1984, let's say. From there, I create a character, and let's just say my character is Emily, okay? Just choosing that name, no particular reason. And Emily will look like this. She'll shop here. This is where she is found online. This is the type of posts that she likes to watch. This is what she really identifies with. And then with all of that information, I then step into part 2 of the ideal avatar creation world. So the next part of my ideal client avatar is where I identify the different buying stages that my avatar could be in. And there are 3 stages. And really, the stage 1 is they really don't know they have a complete problem yet. They may think they have a problem, but they're not sure completely. And I'll give you an example of myself. My sons were in rep baseball, and I was not a baseball person, and neither was their dad. So when they came home with bright white pants for baseball, and the first game that they were out there, they were covered in red dust and green grass stains. I had no clue how to really get this out. So I kind of knew that I had an issue when I washed them and they came out of the wash really not looking great. So I kind of knew I had a problem, but it wasn't until I saw other parents who had been baseball parents for a long time and their kids' white pants were completely clean. So at that point, I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know how to fix it yet. And that's where the stage 1 comes from. It is where your ideal client may not know they have a problem yet, but this is the messaging that you can do to kind of remind people. So some of the things that you could share to help your ideal client understand that there might be an issue. We're going to take a look at Joe through this next stage and use him as an example. So Joe is walking around the house. He's realizing how big the house is now and how empty it feels without his beloved Mary there. And he's walking around looking at all of the memories that they had put together, and it makes him sad and empty every time he walks around and realizes this. So he knows that he has this feeling, but perhaps his kids did not. Perhaps they do not understand that he is feeling this way. However, what Lisa could have posted on social media was to share information on signs to look for when a parent may want to downsize after the death of their spouse. They're starting to plant the seed that there may be a problem coming in the future and there may be a solution for it. So all of that marketing and messaging associated to what you would like to happen, but also understanding you are providing value to your clients. You are 100% sharing information that will help them along the way, because again, they may not sign with you, but at least if you have provided value, there might be someone out there that ends up referring you later on because you have been so forthcoming with just helping others as well. So there's always a win when you provide value to others. So the next stage in the buyer's journey is they're starting to consider options. So now they know that there's an issue. However, they want to start exploring how they can fix their issue. And they are considering all of the options there. This is where they're going to start doing the high level or the broad reach search. This is where they are going to start using Google. They're going to be searching things like real estate agent near me, how to downsize a parent, how to sell a senior's home, how to transition a senior into a long-term care facility, how to downsize a parent and pack away memories. These are all of the things that they're going to probably search in that, scenario for Joe. They're going to be looking for all of those types of things. And if you are covering the realtor near me, if you are covering how to downsize, if you are covering all of those queries and your name keeps popping up, and then if they go into a local Facebook group and ask, hey, anyone recommend a realtor who deals with this? Guess what? You are going to be brought to mind because of the fact that this is what you are known for. You are a specialist, the expert in that area, in that particular need. So this is a great way for you to be able to be represented both online through SEO content, through content marketing, etc. You're able to be found on social media, people who search for hashtags or videos or whatever the case may be, their preferred medium. And if you are present locally, guess what? You will get referrals from others who may not have even used you, but because they have seen your information along the way. So in this stage, you're going to want to take that person who thought they might have a problem soon to looking from a really wide and broad range of people to then bringing it into a smaller group, if not just a couple. And hopefully those couple are you. And if I go back now to my query on, I have baseball pants that are white that are now stained and I don't know how to clean them properly. This is where I started asking various parents what they use so that I could find out if there was a commonality or was there independent solutions that tended to work better than others. Okay, so we're at the last stage of the buyer's journey. So this stage is the decision stage. This is the most imperative to your future leads and sales. So this is where they have taken that broad list, brought it down very, very small. And now you are going between maybe 1, 2, 3 people at most. They are considering you. And you're going to really want to have the messaging here that identifies with why they need to choose you. These are things like reviews. They're going to be looking at Google reviews. They're going to be looking at Facebook reviews. They're going to be looking at comments. They're going to be searching online for reviews on independent sources like Reddit or Quora. They're going to be searching names or companies to make sure that their precious decision, and in the case of Joe, his son and daughter-in-law, his daughter-in-law really wanted to make sure that Joe was going to be taken care of as if he was the most fragile egg in the world, because he is so precious to them and had gone through so much and was grieving so much. So they really wanted to make sure they were working with the ideal, the right person for them. So the things that you want to make sure you get right in this stage is showing up online, showing to be an expert, and really getting those engaged testimonials that will talk about exactly what that client is looking for. So if we look at Joe, this is going to be a testimonial, something like, Lisa helped my mom sell her house for over asking, and she was able to move into the next stage of her life with a lot more money in her pocket. That's a simple review that somebody could get, but so important for your next buyer. And the decision stage is really where you want to make sure you understand how to take them to the next step. What will be the messaging, the voice, the feel, the vibe that they need to choose you over your competition. And now the solution to my baseball pants, well, guess what? It ended up being a combination of this type of stick that you really use on the grass stains and OxyClean. Those were the two magic ingredients that most of the parents use on the baseball field to get them out. I also had an outlier of somebody took their baseball pants to a car wash and strung them up and used the power washer at the car wash to being able to get them out as well. So that was the result of my query on how to resolve my baseball pant issue. So just in case you wanted to know. Now the last part of the ideal client avatar is talking about the marketing and the messaging. This is where you're going to really want to make sure you understand their pain points. You want to know what keeps them up at night. You want to know what really bothers them. You want to know what is making them kind of miserable at this point in time, so that you know, okay, if this makes them miserable, this is how we fix it. So you want to be able to do the messaging of, if you feel like this, we can help you do this. So what you're ideally then doing in that messaging is taking your ideal client's misery and showing them the possibilities. And you are the solution to take them from one place to another. Another positive way to do this is when you know your ideal client's dreams and aspirations, that's also another great way to be able to market to. So for instance, I work with realtors. I often work with realtors who sell less than 5 houses a year. They just don't have the income of where they want to be. They want to be able to be the ones driving the Land Rover, the Range Rover, or the Jaguar, or whatever the case may be. They want the bigger house. They want to be able to sponsor the hockey team or the baseball team or the football team. I take those people who aren't there and help them get to the point of where they want to be. And my marketing and messaging is often built in the way that I help my sales reps go from where they are right now to where they want to be. And the gap is we build the systems and the processes and the automations and the online marketing and messaging to being able to fill that gap. And before we jump into the last part of the video, I'm just going to ask, if you're getting value out of this video, can you please subscribe and know that I thank you. I thank you so much. So the ideal client avatar process is really fantastic to be able to tell the person you want to work with exactly who you are and how you help. And the last part of the buying journey is the actual buying. This is when they have made the decision and they are going with you. And in the buying process, you want to make sure your customer service is top notch. They need to feel like they are number one and they're your only client. You want to make sure that after everything is done, you have answered every one of their questions. You have predetermined what kind of questions they could have and even given them the solutions and the guides and all of the information to be able to fill that gap already. And then when the buying process is done, you're going to get a review. You're going to ask for a review. Then you're going to use that to build out your online profile, again, to reconfirm who your ideal client is. And make sure you do this automated. It'll make it easy. You can even guide them as to what kind of reviews you are looking for. You don't have to write it for them, but tell them, this is the reviews that I'm looking ideally for. If you feel that I've hit those marks, please feel free to add that as part of your review. And I do thank you if you do put a review for me. And that's a wrap. Thank you for watching. And remember, down below is that ideal client avatar workbook. After we're done, click there. You're going to be able to get your own workbook to be able to walk through the entire ideal client avatar process, building the demographics, the psychographics, and then walking through a buyer's journey. You're going to be able to use that for your marketing and your messaging going forward. So make sure you click the link below. And since you're there, do that subscribe.